Wow. I just got done watching our president talk about the immigration problem and the caravan, which is really an invasion into our country. Looks like we've sent down about 5,500 troops, and there's a plan, guys, and he is going to make it happen. These guys are going to come in and start throwing rocks and attack our guys. Soldiers aren't going to stand there and take it. They're going to be able to fight back. And Trump told them that they start throwing bottles and rocks and shit at you. You have every right to defend yourself. And you know what? I think it's great. Democrats, you guys are in trouble now because you wanted this little caravan. You paid for it through your little pal, the Jew killer, Soros. Yeah, he's a Jew, all right. But you know what? That Jew turned in dozens and dozens of Jew families in Germany and got them fucking murdered and sent to the ovens and stole their wealth so he could sneak his family out of there. Read a little bit about Soros. He's not an innocent Jewish man. He's a fucking piece of shit. In fact, he's a war criminal, and he should be tried as such. I don't know how many hearts he stole from prisoners in prison to keep his sorry ass alive, but out of that Mayo Clinic down in Florida, you betcha. Anyway, the fact remains, President Trump is strong on this, and this is what we're talking about. We are not going to allow an invasion. So what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to let you hear Trump's speech, and then you can tell everybody you know what you heard, because we already know what the media is going to do. They're going to take their little stories, because he did do a question and answer session afterwards. Excuse me. And those reporters, they were all digging for their garbage to take back to Washington Compost and New York Crimes. You know, that's better off being wrapped up in fish paper and all of these MSNBC, CNN, and ABC. You can't trust the media, okay? Don't even bother listening to them over the next 5 days, because all they're going to do is lie to you. And like Nancy Pelosi, she's a fucking lying bitch. So is Chuck Schumer. I can't even count the lies that he tells when he's on the Senate floor. And then nobody calls him out on these lies, but they sure call out everybody else. If you're a Democrat or a conservative, oh, you got somebody looking at your shit from top to bottom. But goddamn, if you're a Democrat or a liberal or a progressive, they don't even look, because they're a bought and paid for mouthpiece of the Democrat Party. These guys are in fucking panic mode. Remember when I told you that Trump, one of the first executive orders that he did was he created a military tribunal. Okay, I don't know if he created it. Well, yeah, it was an executive order. And if you watch the Kavanaugh hearings, when Senator Lindsey Graham was talking about what's the punishment for treason, conspiring with a foreign entity to overthrow the government, Kavanaugh knew what he was talking about. And so did I. So did a lot of us that pay attention. And come January 19th, after the election here, you can start to watch some pretty big names fall. They've been working on this shit for a long time. There's a lot of good FBI guys. There's a lot of good CIA guys. Remember old Mike Rogers? He was one of the first whistleblowers on the inside of the coup against the President of the United States now. So with that, I'm looking forward to it. And as far as the border, you know what? You start throwing rocks at my son, I hope he blows a hole in your head. Okay? Because a rock can kill somebody too. Remember that poor border guy that got killed by a big old rock hitting him in the head? Well, you know what? All's fair in love and war and protection of our country. So let's listen to President Trump. And what I'm going to show you is all of the dirty Democrats and what they're trying to do. They're trying to convince people, especially the black voter, to get back on the plantation. Get back on that plantation. Put them chains back around your ankles. We need to control you. So as long as we're feeding you and paying for your house and giving you benefits, we control you. Now, if you become one of those people like I don't know, 290 million Americans, and you work for a living and pay your own bills and take care of your own shit, you're not subject to that, because you know what? Property and work and money buys you freedom. And we have it as long as we could protect it. And that means them lazy fuckers that want the free shit, they're going to find out the hard way what goes with that free shit, which is restraint, control. Get back on that plantation. Candace Owens is putting it out there great. I was really happy to see so many of our Black Americans getting off that plantation with the walkaway movement. Thank you, guys. See, I don't see color either. I see a man looking for a job to feed his family, no matter what color you are. But we have to be able to protect our borders and to allow even the low-income guys that want to work and provide their families a job. And that's how you provide a job, is you keep out the scabs, the ones that'll come in and work for cheaper than you will. So anyway, let's listen to Trump, and let's get a look at some of these nasty, nasty Democrats and the lies they're telling you.
The American people regarding the crisis on our southern border, and crisis it is. Illegal immigration affects the lives of all Americans. Illegal immigration hurts American workers, burdens American taxpayers, and undermines public safety and places enormous strain on our local schools, hospitals, and communities in general, taking precious resources away from the poorest Americans who need them most. Illegal immigration costs our country billions and billions of dollars each year. America is a welcoming country, and under my leadership, it's a welcoming country. We lead the world in humanitarian protection and assistance by far. It's nobody even close. We have the largest and most expansive immigration programs anywhere on the planet. We've issued 40 million green cards since 1970, which means the permanent residency and a path to citizenship for many, many people. But we will not allow our generosity to be abused by those who would break our laws, defy our rules, violate our borders, break into our country illegally. We won't allow it. Mass uncontrolled immigration is especially unfair to the many wonderful law-abiding immigrants already living here who followed the rules and waited their turn. Some have been waiting for many years. Some have been waiting for a long time. They've done everything perfectly. And they're going to come in. At some point, they're going to come in. Many cases, very soon. We need them to come in because we have companies coming into our country. They need workers, but they have to come in on a merit basis, and they will come in on a merit basis. The communities are often left to bear the cost and the influx of people that come in illegally. We can't allow that. There's a limit to how many people a nation can responsibly absorb into their societies. Every day, above and beyond our existing lawful admission programs, roughly 1,500 to 2,000 people try crossing our borders illegally. We do a very good job considering the laws are so bad. They're not archaic, they're incompetent. It's not that they're old. They're just bad. And we can't get any Democrat votes to change them. It's only the Republicans that are in unison. They want to change them. They want to make strong borders, want to get rid of any crime because of the borders, of which there's a lot. And we've done a great job with the laws that we have. We're moving in tremendous numbers of people to get out the MS-13 gangs and other gangs that illegally come into our country. And we're getting them out by the thousands. But this is a perilous situation, and it threatens to become even more hazardous as our economy gets better and better. A lot of the cause of this problem is the fact that we right now have the hottest economy anywhere in the world. It's doing better than any economy in the world. Jobs, unemployment, you look at any number. Right now we have more workers than any time in the history of our country. We have more people working, which is a tremendous statement. More people working than at any time in the history of our country. and people want to come in, and in some cases they want to take advantage of that, and that's okay, and we want them to come in, but they have to come in through merit. They have to come in legally. At this very moment, large, well-organized caravans of migrants are marching toward our southern border. Some people call it an invasion. It's like an invasion.
It is an invasion.
They have violently overrun the Mexican border. You saw that 2 days ago. These are tough people in many cases. A lot of young men, strong men, and a lot of men that maybe we don't want in our country. But again, we'll find that out through the legal process. But they've overrun the Mexican police, and they've overrun and hurt badly Mexican soldiers. So this isn't an innocent group of people. There's a large number of people that are tough. They've injured, they've attacked, and the Mexican police and military has actually suffered. And I appreciate what Mexico is trying to do. So let me begin by stating that these illegal caravans will not be allowed into the United States. And they should turn back now, because they're wasting their time. They should apply to come into our country. We want them to come into our country. Very much. We need people to help us with all of these companies that are coming in. We've never had anything like this. We have car companies coming in. We have Foxconn, so involved with the manufacturing of Apple products, coming in Wisconsin. We have a lot of companies coming in. But they have to apply, and they have to be wonderful people that are going to love our country and work hard. And we've already dispatched for the border the United States military, and they will do the job. They're setting up right now, and they're preparing. We hope nothing happens, but if it does, we are totally prepared. Greatest military anywhere in the world, and it's going to be and is now in great shape, no longer depleted like it was when I took over as the President of the United States. The government of Mexico has generously offered asylum, jobs, education, and medical care for people within the caravan, but many members of the caravan have refused these offers, which demonstrate that these migrants are not legitimate asylum seekers. They're not looking for protection, because if they were, they'd be able to get it from Mexico. Mexico has agreed to take them in and encourage them to stay. But they don't want to stay. They want to come into the United States. So this is no longer safety. And asylum is about safety. Asylum is not a program for those living in poverty. There are billions of people in the world living at the poverty level. The United States cannot possibly absorb them all. Asylum is a very special protection intended only for those fleeing government persecution based on race, religion, and other protected status. These caravans and illegal migrants are drawn to our country by Democrat-backed laws and left-wing judicial rulings. We're getting rulings that are so ridiculous, so bad, they're writing the laws. Can't do that. Collectively known as an example, catch and release. It's a disgrace that we have to put up with it. These policies lead to the release of illegal aliens into our communities after they've been apprehended. But we're not releasing anymore. Big change as of a couple of days ago. We're going to no longer release. We're going to catch. We're not going to release. They're going to stay with us until the deportation hearing or the asylum hearing takes place. So we're not releasing them into the community. We have millions of people that over the years have been released into the community. They never show up for the trials. They never come back. They're never seen again. And those people, they know who they are. And we know a lot of where they are, who they are, and those people will be deported, directly deported. The biggest loophole drawing illegal aliens to our borders is the use of fraudulent or meritless asylum claims to gain entry into our great country. An alien simply crosses the border illegally, finds a Border Patrol agent, and using well-coached language by lawyers and others that stand there and trying to get fees or whatever they can get, they're given a phrase to read. They never heard of the phrase before. They don't believe in the phrase. But they're given a little legal statement to read. And they read it. And now all of a sudden they're supposed to qualify. But that's not the reason they're here. This merely asserts the need for asylum and then often released into the United States, and they await a lengthy court process. The court process will take years sometimes for them to attend. Well, we're not releasing them into our country any longer. They'll wait for long periods of time. We're putting up massive cities of tents. The military is helping us incredibly well. I want to thank the Army Corps of Engineers. They've been so efficient, so good, so talented. We have thousands of tents. We have a lot of tents. We have a lot of everything. We're going to hold them right there. We're not letting them into our country, and then they never show up. Almost. It's like a level of 3%. They never show up for the trial. So by the time their trial comes, they're gone. Nobody knows where they are. But we know where a lot of them are, and they're going to be deported. There are now nearly 700,000 aliens inside the United States awaiting adjudication of their claims. Most of these people, we have no idea how they got there, why they got there, and the number is actually going to be a much larger number as we look at all of the data. So if you look at just a minimal number, it's the size of Vermont or bigger. And the overall number could be 10 million people, could be 12 million people, could be 20 million people. The record keeping from past administrations has not exactly been very good. As human smugglers and traffickers have learned how the game is played and how to game the system, we have witnessed a staggering 1,700 increase in asylum claims since the year 2010. They understand the law better than the lawyers understand the law. You have a lot of professionalism there. You have a lot of professionalism involved with setting up the caravans. You take a look at the way that's happening. Even the countries. You look at Honduras and El Salvador, and
But
you look at
putting them on
what's
buses to
happening at
bring
the
them up
different
here.
levels in different countries, or what's happening on the streets. There's a lot of professionalism taking place, and there seems to be a lot of money passing. And then all of a sudden, out of the blue, these big caravans are formed, and they start marching up. Got a long way to go. On average, once released, an asylum case takes 3.5 years to complete. Think of it. Somebody walks into our country, reads a statement given by a lawyer, and we have a 3.5-year court case for one person. Whereas other people tell them, out, get out, just get out. Other countries, get out. We have a border, get out. We go through years and years of litigation because of the Democrats and the incompetent, very, very stupid laws that we have. They're the laughing stock all over the world, including the people that are marching up. They understand. But the difference is we're not allowing them in, and we're not releasing, and we're not doing any of the things that were done for so many years that really are terrible for our country. The overwhelming majority of claims are rejected by the courts, but by that time, the alien has usually long since disappeared into our country. So they never get to see the judge, they never get to have a ruling. They don't care because they're in the country and nobody knows where they are. All told, there are approximately 1 million aliens who have received final orders of removal. They've actually got final orders of removal. You don't have to go to a court anymore. The courts have already issued the orders of removal, and we've gotten a lot of them, but who remain at large in our country. So we're moving them out. This endemic abuse of the asylum system makes a mockery of our immigration system, displacing legitimate asylum seekers, and there are legitimate asylum seekers, while rewarding those who abuse or defraud our system, which is almost everybody. Everybody is abusing it and just doing things to our system which were unthinkable I'm sure even by the Democrats who were largely responsible for getting it done. These individuals disrespect the foundations of American government by voluntarily choosing to break the law as their first act on American soil. Furthermore, contained within this giant flow of illegal migration to our southwest border is the movement of illicit and deadly narcotics. It's in the southwest. Most of it comes in. Nearly 100% of heroin in the United States enters through the southern border. Think of that. 100% almost of heroin comes in through the southern border, along with roughly 90% of cocaine and the majority of meth and a substantial portion of the ultra-lethal fentanyl killing our youth. Fentanyl is killing our youth.